With that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jess Price-Jones and her team, who you will actually be doing 2 sessions with, as you know. We're very pleased to have you and your team back.
So how energized and how focused are you? I would like you, if you're feeling 9 or 10 out of 10, energized and focused, to put your hand up. Okay, that's good. So let's just demonstrate some of this energy and focus. I need a volunteer. Thank you, Christian, for volunteering. And clapping is what we're going to do. So I'm going to ask you to stand up and find a partner. You're going to face your partner. And we are going to... What are you going to be doing? What we've done is divide you into groups of 4 to 5, and we've done it according to the need that you've expressed in the questionnaire that you did. So you'll all be going off to a room. You've got one of these in front of you, and you'll all be presenting to each other in that room. Have fun, take some risks. If you see something great that's happening, have a go yourself.
And what I want you to think about is that brilliant presentation that you saw, why was it so brilliant? And put any ideas you have on post-its. 1 idea per post-it. So if one of the reasons it was brilliant was good structure, that goes on 1 post-it, another idea on another. And what I want you to do is organize these post-its into 3 clear groups. So whatever feels like it belongs together stays together. So if you feel that opportunity to ask questions belongs with engaging and exciting, then they will be part of the same group. So what you want to end up on is 3 groups of post-its that all feel like they belong under the same heading.
Okay.
Go for it. If you're designing a presentation, this is a really simple way of working out what you want to say. Post-it your ideas, brainstorm your ideas, 1 idea per post-it, stick them up on a wall, and then have a look at them and see if they belong together. Certain ideas belong in the same box, and see if you can separate them into 3 separate boxes. Why 3? Easy to remember. Mars a Day helps you. Anyone watch that? Work, rest and play. Never forget that, right? Rest your life. That was a commercial when I first came to England in 1972, and I've never forgotten it. They brought it back, I think, a couple of years ago. We remember things in 3s, it's just simpler. So if you can have a 3-point agenda, we'll be doing more on this in terms of structure, but this is a really simple way, starting from square 1. Don't open your laptop, don't open PowerPoint, because it's immensely easy to create PowerPoint slides, and then you'll end up with 80 slides in no time to actually pull them down. Do this first. Doesn't take long, as you've just done it.
If you're well grounded with your feet and your knees are nice and relaxed and flexible, you start to feel better physically and you start to feel better mentally. Imagine I throw you a beach ball and you catch it. And that's nice and contained, and then at times we may make it bigger. And of course then you use your hands to express yourself. It's not what I call the Robocop position, where you stay there and just speak from there.
So a simple lesson is the bigger the audience, the bigger the app. That's it?
Exactly.
Exactly. And it's in general with your body language. The bigger your audience and the bigger your stage, the more expansive your body language becomes, and your gestures and your movement.
You know, Margaret Thatcher would say that she was always nervous before she ever stood up to speak. But what she did with her nerves, just as you do, is you convert them into positive excitement and energy. It's really vital to have that surge of energy at the front. And actually, on the day that you don't have it, watch out, because you'll be resting on your laurels, and that's when you'll slip up. So it's how you convert this energy, nervous energy, negative energy, destructive energy, into a positive one. And that will only happen if you do a bit of preparation beforehand. We'll definitely talk about that. The other important thing to mention is that just as your energy and your nerves and your pulse rate are high right at the beginning, guess what? So is the audience's attention on you.
Yes.
And that starts off high, and similarly it will go down and then you say the word finally, just like he did, and it goes up. That moment, right at the very beginning of a presentation, where, unfortunately, you're nervous and all the eyes are on you. It couldn't be worse. A good opening. It will help you and your nerves. It will make you feel more confident, more relaxed, so you know, to quote you, Mark, you're going in with the tools and the skills and you know you can sail through it. Mm. But engaging, inspiring can't happen unless you've got a really, really good structure, and structure enables you to engage right from the word go and set the stage and set the expectations.
Coming back to what I said that we were going to do, I said we were going to have a look at some structure. Again, it's one of the key things that really helps you to engage your audience. And there's a page in the booklet here on page number 6 that we're going to have a look at. Structure our presentation. Let's focus first of all on that very first moment when you're about to give the presentation. If I was to draw a graph, and this is time along the bottom here. So here is the start of your presentation, here's the end of your presentation. In terms of your, in terms of your heart rate, in terms of your nerves, what sort of shape do you think the line looks like? Okay, so yeah, so it starts probably high, and it comes down to hopefully to a more resting, a normal high. The audience's attention probably starts highest at the start of your presentation. It's naturally going to go downwards. And towards the end, what happens?
I think it picks up again.
Yeah. As you say, in summary, in conclusion, audience attention tends to come back again. Because they think, oh, I've not been listening, so maybe if I listen to this last bit, I'll capture what's been said. So this bit here, this starting bit of our presentation, is really crucial because your heart is pounding, but your audience is at their most attentive. So this is why we believe it's really important that you don't just start your presentation with, hello, good morning, I'm Eduardo, I'm here today from the marketing department, I'm going to talk to you about... What are you thinking?
You're going to sleep?
Oh, I'm going to sleep.
Another one.
Another one. Yeah? So what we want is something that's going to make the most of this attention that the audience has got for you. And this is what we call the opening bang.
The other thing with the voice, a couple of you picked up as well, about it being fairly flat. And this is very important because of the way our brain works. Now, being in London, I'm sure you've all been on a plane, right? Would we agree that planes are pretty noisy things?
Yes.
Right? But after you've been on a plane for about 10 minutes,
Quiet.
you can't really hear it, right? Our brain is conditioned to tune out constants. So like a jet noise when you're in flight is constant. It's loud, but it's constant. 10 minutes later, you can't hear it. So when you start to speak, if your voice doesn't move, it starts to disappear. So this is where things like your volume change and emphasis, the emotional change, this is exciting, but this is serious. And the reason why, so all that intonation stuff is very important, because if it's constant, people are likely to go away. And it's not a coincidence that, hypnotists speak in a slow, deep, unchanging voice. Because as we all know, that's the best way to get people to be energized, enthusiastic, and engaged in what we are saying. Right? It does exactly. You literally go to sleep. Once you want people to sleep, that's how to do it. If you want them engaged, then the voice needs to move as well.
Near the beginning, you said change is permanent. Change is happening very fast. Short, concise sentences with repetition that really persuaded. And you used words like passionate and we want to go. So it's all very active, focused, directive. There is, in iOpener, we call that power talk. So it goes with power terms. And that's exactly what we were doing, powerful. Because what I saw was a very good combination of standing very still, firm, planted feet, but what were Kanan's hands doing? They were animated, they were lively. So you had a combination of energy and control. And for me, that made me think, here's someone who knows his stuff and is persuasive.
What I'd like to do now is, as I was saying, I'd like us to look at rhetorical techniques. We've talked a lot about pace, we've talked a lot about how we can use pauses, about how we can use our voices more effectively. Now this exercise is a very interesting one. It's quite a mechanical exercise, and it's also an exercise that I have found that when I bring it into the workshop, it has a profound effect on how people then go on to use their voices, and it's about experiencing this. So I'm going to give you each a sentence. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do it once again. You might like to count while you're pausing. Okay. See what happens there.
Right.
And can the rest of you, can you notice what else is happening? What else is Robert doing? He might be doing it consciously or not. When you pause, you connect more with your audience and you start to emphasize certain parts of your message.
Sometimes in the middle of this speech I'll show you later on, he forgets where he is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't spook him, because one of the great dramatic devices is pausing. So he says, and my next thing is structuring presentation. It doesn't matter, he's forgotten. He just looks at his notes, thinks about it, what am I going to say next, and then delivers it. He doesn't flat. There's no need to flat. But we always think we have to fill the space. I'm speaking, so surely all the space has to be filled. It doesn't. Leave big gaps, because you've thought about this presentation, your audience is only hearing it for the first time. So the gaps are important, A, for drama, and B, for them to assimilate what you said and work out, what does that mean to me? That's the critical thing, and we never allow enough time to people to think, what does that mean to them? So you must leave big gaps, big pauses, and you can pause for seconds and seconds and seconds. And it just has huge, dramatic impact. So,
There is often a gap between knowing and doing. And that's what we are trying to bridge today, with practice, with feedback, and more practice and more feedback. And I see that you know a lot, but the question is, are you doing this?